how that goes, right? I had alcohol in the center console, and I there was obviously police out there. Someone had called saying that there was a car on the side of the road and they were, pulled over with their lights on. So that day I got arrested and I got a DUI. What is going on, YouTube? I hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are feeling blessed, feeling amazing. Y'all, today I decided to just finally grab the mic and hold it. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Hopefully you guys can see me well. And I hope this message gets through and really touches you guys' heart. So today, y'all, I want to make a quick video on, as you guys seen in the title, how drinking almost killed me, how drinking has almost ruined my whole life. Had I not stopped by the grace of God, had I not woken up. But I just want to give you guys a backstory on when I started drinking, right? So I want to say I was very young, y'all, very young when I started drinking, probably like 13, 14 years old. And I started drinking because I had family members that they drank, they were older, and being young, you always want to try those things, right? You see other people doing it, so it's like, hey, I want to try that out. It looks like fun, looks like they're having fun. So as I started drinking when I was a young kid, I really liked it, right? I really liked the feeling of feeling intoxicated, of not caring about other people's opinions, right? That's what, for me, that's the biggest thing that alcohol did for me, was it just made me feel confident, right? It made me feel like I got it in the bag. I know who I am. I'm cool. And then when I was off it, I was insecure. I was shy. I was, all the rest of the feelings, right? And so I remember starting to drink. I would start drinking alone. I would love to just drink, on the weekends, and, just like that every now and then. And I remember, y'all, going through high school. High school is when things just ramped up, right? If you guys haven't seen my other video, I made a video on why I stopped smoking weed. Make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. It should be somewhere up here. It's my last video. And I used to do that. That was something I did every day, right? Every day I would smoke. But when it comes to drinking was more of a weekend thing, right? I would go out. I had friends in high school that I would go out with every single week, and it was almost like a tradition, y'all. A tradition to go out, to smoke, to go downtown in my little town where I used to live, and we would just drink, and it was just like passing time, right? We would go out. We would go to the casinos. I lived in a state where they had casinos. We would go to the casinos, just look a fool, right? We were having fun because we were intoxicated. We weren't doing much, but when you're drunk, everything's fun, right? And I had so many nights like that, y'all, so many weekends like that. And I remember there was this one specific time, y'all, that it really shifted my life. Let's say I had two specific events, right? So when I was in high school, I used to ditch school a lot. I would always be in and out of school. I never stayed in school. Like, I just hated school because I never felt like I was a part of it, right? I wasn't the cool kid. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had certain people that I hung out with. I had a girl, but I was never that cool kid, y'all, that, even contrary to popular belief, right? I never hung around with the big crowds. I did have, a little group that I would hang out with, and those were people that smoked, that did drugs, that sold drugs. Those are the people I would hang out with. And so I remember being in high school, y'all, I can't even tell you what grade it was because it was so long ago, but I want to say probably somewhere around like the 10th or the 11th grade. And I remember I used to always ditch school, and there was a couple people I would hang out with. Mostly it was one person. And me and him, we would go to the stores, y'all, and we would steal alcohol. And a lot of times I was too afraid to go in there and steal alcohol, so the other guy would do it. He would get the alcohol, and then we would just get drunk, right? We would get drunk in the, near our school, or we'd get drunk and then go walking back to school to make it to our last classes. So that was my life, y'all. That was my life as a teenager, to be honest. And I remember this one time we had went to a store nearby our school. We walked there, we got alcohol, we got drunk, y'all. I don't know how it happened. I don't know how much I drank, but all I know is I woke up and I was at home, y'all. I woke up and I was at home, And apparently, like, according to my parents, according to my mom, I was passed out in the back of the school. I was just passed out, like, literally in the back of my school, and they had to put me in a wheelchair. And I was very I was intoxicated, y'all. I don't remember much of it, but from that story, right? And that I had spit on my counselor. My counselor, she was a loving lady to me. She was always helping me out. She was always helping me to try to improve my life, get better grades. And yeah, apparently that was somewhere hidden inside of me. And so that happened, right? That was one of the instances. And I remember waking up from that, and it didn't seem real. I didn't know what had happened, and until I had other people telling me. And then I want to say the second instance that really opened up my eyes, y'all, was I was hanging out with a family member, right? And I was not nearby my home. I was driving, and me and him, we had gotten, me and him and a couple other guys that we were hanging out with, we had gotten really drunk. And I noticed that for me, when I used to drink, I would be very, very aggressive, right? If I wanted to do something and someone was stopping me, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. So apparently I wanted to drive. I wanted to go home, and my family member, he didn't want me to leave, right? Because I wasn't in my right mind. But I was to that point where I was very aggressive, where I was very, like, I'm going, and he was afraid even himself, so he let me go. And I remember I drove. I was probably like 5 minutes from my house, y'all. I drove maybe about 15-20 minutes, drunk, blacked out drunk. I don't remember a single thing. And I woke up, and I was on the side of the road, and like my car was messed up. My car was damaged. I don't know how damaged it was. And mind you guys, this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I woke up, and I was on the side of the road to a police officer knocking on my window. And I want to say, y'all, I was 16 when this happened, y'all. 16 years old. And of course, you know how that goes, right? I had alcohol in the center console, and there was obviously police out there. Someone had called saying that there was a car on the side of the road, and they were pulled over with their lights on. So that day I got arrested, and I got a DUI, y'all. And from that day forward, my life, I feel like, and this was all by the grace of God, right? The reason for the title, right, is I could have died. I could have, how alcohol almost killed me, y'all, was it was progressively getting worse, right? It was never like I just drank on the weekends. I just drank for fun. I just drank, to pass time, or when I was hanging out with friends. It would progressively get worse and worse and worse. And, to the point where I got a DUI. And that night, y'all, I don't know how I made it where I made it. I don't know how I drove, how far I drove, but it's crazy to me, right? Because a lot of things could have happened that night. I could have crashed. I could have killed somebody. I could have killed myself, and those things would run through my mind, right, when that all happened. And I remember going to jail, getting booked in, and then having my mom had to come and pick me up. And I don't know, I just remember waking up that next morning and feeling like my life was over, y'all. Feeling like I had messed up so bad that I couldn't go back from this. Like, it was the worst of the worst, right? Because I used to hear about other people getting DUIs. People are in their 30s and their 40s, right? But imagine being 16 getting a DUI, and I didn't know how extreme it would be, what my consequences were. So I was just, I couldn't believe what I had done. And from there, y'all, I remember having to do about 2 years of counseling, y'all. If you've ever gotten a DUI, or if you're ever just curious, if you get a DUI when you're under 18, you have to pay fines. And I believe even this is when you're over 18, when it's your first one, you have to pay fines, and you have to get counseling. You have to go to like a school, an AA school or something. And yeah, that's essentially what happened to me. I thank God for my counselor, for the guy who counseled me for about 2 years. It was a nice time being able to be in there and open up about my feelings, open up about what was going through my mind, and I feel like that really helped me. But from there, y'all, that was when I realized that, alcohol, I couldn't be drinking anymore. I couldn't be doing what I was doing, because it was either, look, you stop right now, you let this go, or eventually it's going to kill you, because it's just going to progressively get worse, right? And you learn this that with any narcotic, with any substance that a person's putting into their body, it's never just a one and done, right? You're never just, oh, I'm only doing this little amount and I feel good. You build a tolerance to it. You build that immunity, right? So you don't feel that same feeling that you felt with that little bit, a couple months down the road. Now you need more. Until you're doing all these extremes just to feel that same high that you originally felt when you first started. And that's how I feel like that's why drugs, alcohol, any sort of substance, even watching things on the internet, that's why all these substances, they're highly addictive, y'all. And they're not just in the passing, they're not just things that you can just get up and, I just need a little bit. It's always meant to give you more and more and more, so you need more to feel satisfied, you need more to feel fulfilled. And that's what alcohol did to me, y'all. But y'all, I wanted to just make this quick little video, sharing my experience on what, how alcohol really changed my life. Again, I say, y'all, that I came out of all this by the grace of God, y'all. This wasn't because I was a good person. This wasn't because I figured it out and I had the willpower, but it was all by grace, y'all. And I guess had I never had that scare, that DUI, that going through that whole process of going through counseling and being in jail and feeling all of that, I don't know where I'd be right now. But yeah, y'all, if you guys are currently struggling with, drinking, if you guys are currently, drinking right now and not realizing, or maybe you don't think there's anything wrong with it, y'all understand that, overconsumption, doing anything of excess is horrible. And there are certain things that even if you don't do them in excess and you just do them in moderation, it's best to just stay away from it, especially if you have an addictive personality. If you have a personality that, when you do something, you constantly want more and more of it, you need to overindulge. That's how I used to be. So y'all just steer clear from any substances. Keep a level-headed mind and build on yourself, y'all. Build yourself up, right? Like a lot of times, at least for me, why I did these substances was because I wasn't happy with who I was. I didn't feel proud of who I was, about the man that I was. And instead of putting in that hard work, instead of looking in the mirror and having that self-reflection, instead of sitting down and writing down my thoughts and understanding why I was feeling the way I was feeling and processing those emotions and growing, I just wanted to suppress it and do something that would cover up that pain, do something that would cover up. I wanted a quick fix, right? An easy fix. And as you know, drinking, smoking, whatever it is, right? Whatever vices that you may have, those things, they're quick fixes. They don't last. They only work as long as you keep doing them, right? And I would always suggest y'all that do the hard work, because one day you're gonna have to, right? Either you're gonna die by the substance, you're gonna die by the vices, or you're gonna wake up and say, I gotta kick this to the curb and I gotta put in that work. So one or the other, y'all. You gotta put in that work, and it, of course it's gonna be hard, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. But you just have to decide, what type of life do you want to live, right? Do you want to live a life of being addicted to something, being addicted to, needing this certain vice for you to feel fulfilled? Or do you just want to live a life where you feel fulfilled in your life because you put in that hard work, because you've built yourself? You know what I mean? So y'all, I hope you guys enjoyed this little story. I hope it was helpful. I hope it was inspiring to some of y'all. This is me just being open, raw, uncut, hopefully no edits. And I just wanted to share this story, y'all. It was definitely something that was on my heart. I don't really speak to many people about my past, but I feel like opening up sometimes and, sharing your story, sharing, what God has done in your life can help other people, other people that maybe they're losing hope. Maybe they don't feel like there's a way out. Sometimes we see success, we see other people in their prime, we see them when they're doing their best, but we don't know what they got through. We don't know what they went through to get there, all the struggles, all the trials, all the tribulations. So want to share this story with y'all. And if you guys did find it helpful, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe down below, y'all, and I'll see you in the next one, y'all. Peace.